Most people get lost in information and never achieve transformation. Most people collect knowledge and never become realized. Knowledge is important, information is important, but information is giving you a method to go forward towards transformation. Therefore, you have to select the information you focus on. That's why there are many paths. Which path is our focus? That should be according to your specific desire, your specific mood. We are on the path to Braj. All right? So that is our focus, how to enter into Braj. And not Braj only in this realm that we can see with our material eyes, but the realm of Braj that we can see by spiritual eyes and enter in spiritual form. And that is through the process of hearing. This is why hearing is so important. Hearing is a very subtle element or sound. You can say, I can taste a mango, I can smell a mango, I can feel a mango, but can you hear a mango? Hearing is very subtle. So hearing is important. Hearing is the only faculty through which we can glean the Absolute by His own will. But first we develop the receptivity to hear. This is why it's said in our scripture that God is not revealed by your efforts. He only reveals Himself to whom He chooses, but He chooses to reveal Himself to those who attentively, sincerely, submissively hear His message through His medium, which is like His flute, and that is our gurus. They are like His flute message. And so through hearing, we can enter into that information that can give us the process to achieve transformation, to go from knowledge to realization, to really enter into Braj, which is our focus. Okay? So therefore, with that introduction, I wanted to speak about a topic that has come to me the last pretty much recently. Like I said, instead of trying to do 3 lectures a day on unlimited topics, I want to choose to help people focus and guide them towards greater experience. Because I think that's something that is lost in most religions that talk about what you must do in this world and how you should behave and how you should look at others, instead of how you can transform and become your highest self. So the topic is, for now, also to mention about this is, I really feel like if you're praying to your gurus, you're praying to Krishna, then you can kind of receive something important or proper to share instead of just giving book knowledge without realization. This is something I'm meditating on, and something I've been hearing recently in darshans with our guru here. Darshan means to see, but what do we do in a darshan? We hear. Darshan means to see, and when we go for darshan, what do? We hear. So what do we want to do? We want to see or we want to hear? In the Bhagavad, it says, by attentive hearing, you can see the Absolute. Yat Shrut Ekshita. By hearing, you can see. Shrut Ekshita. Shruta means to hear, and Ikshita means to see. And therefore, our highest scriptures are called the Shrutis, that which is heard. Even Guru Mantra is heard. And by the process of hearing, that message will go into the heart, and Krishna is carried in that message. Our Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada said, the Harikatha or the holy names are like a medicinal capsule, and within that Krishna is present. But this medicine is received as a tincture in the ear. So we think, oh, I want to hear. Give me some drops. Give me some drops of nectar. Shrindvatam Swakatha Krishna. By hearing about Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, this is the most auspicious activity. Hridyanta hi abhadrati, all the obstacles in the heart will be removed. And you will perceive the Absolute. So the topic now is, this is the title, right? I'm trying to get to it. Don't be afraid to love. Right? Don't be afraid to love. This is what I've been meditating on. But love is natural, so we're always loving something. I love that pizza. With pineapples. Heretic! Burn him! No pineapple. I love pineapple and jalapenos on pizza. But without pizza, we have an Italian here too.
It's fine. Do your thing.
So, potato, jalapeno, pineapple, jalapeno. Potato, jalapeno, pineapple. Sun-dried tomatoes. So, love is natural, and we're applying it in this world naturally. So therefore, don't be afraid to love what is spiritual. And if you have difficulty, and if you're afraid, anyhow, go forward. Don't be afraid to love. Learn to love Guru and Krishna, like you love your parents, like you love your brothers and sisters, like you love your partners. Oh, but I don't love my parents. I don't love my brothers and sisters. Okay, but you must love something. You love yourself. The self is most dear. Why? In selfishness, the self is most dear. But a mother will die for her child. This is higher love. So don't be afraid to love. But even if you don't have love for others, there is some love for the self. Those people who are very sick, very sad, they also cannot love themselves, and they may become so depressed they even want to take their own life. But don't be afraid to love. Learn to love yourself also. But our philosophy is we should learn to love God. And don't be afraid to love God. But even that requires some process to awaken that which is natural. Love is natural. That is our first declaration. The soul is eternal, and its nature is love. This is our Vedic philosophy. Sat, the soul is eternal. Chit, the soul is conscious. Ananda, the soul's nature is to love, which is bliss. The highest bliss is love. But we're in this world to scatter our love into the objects of this world. And as we advance, we gradually learn to collect it from here and there and offer it to its source, the Absolute or the Divine. But there's a process to do that. I want to speak about that process. But first, you have to know to not be afraid. It's okay. But it's important to be in good association so that you are guided and protected in the process of that experience and that development. Otherwise, you won't know what to do with that energy. And it can become, again, misplaced. So that's why it said we should always try to be in favorable association. And that favorable association is described to be like-minded, affectionate, and giving of shelter. If you're in the hot sun and you see a beautiful tree giving very sweet shade, you think, oh, I want to go into the shade of that tree. That's called shelter. That means someone who is more advanced, who is more experienced, who is more realized, a mentor. And there should be affection, and there should be like-mindedness. Why? Because as we said before, you have to select what you focus on. Why go to some path which is completely alien to your soul? Because there are many paths, because there's many varieties of beings, people. So you find somewhere where you find like-minded company, where there's affection and genuine shelter, ability to help. And then you start from there. And you don't be afraid to love. Many people approach spiritual life thinking it's a mechanical process and you have to do different rituals. And by this, gradually, everything will work out. But in our scriptures, in our line, it is said that you can do that kind of practice for millions of years, millions of lives, and still not awaken divine love. You can go in the wrong direction forever, and you're not going to come to the right place. I'll give you a fun example. Christopher Columbus. I want to go to India. I'm going to go the opposite direction than normal. You ended up somewhere, but it wasn't India. So you'll get somewhere, but it won't necessarily be where you're aiming. So you have to follow the proper process to awaken divine love, if that is what you're aiming for. There's no sense in going the opposite direction and following ritualistic practice forever without ever coming into any experience of transformative awakening. And that comes through our direct process, which includes the ritual and includes the practice, but it is a ritual and a practice that awakens that love. And therefore we say, do not be afraid to love. Sometimes love is messy, and so the example is like a newborn infant passes stool and urine on the mother's lap. The mother is not disturbed. It's a baby. We hear about Radharani. Daily she will go to Surya Puja and worship the sun god. But actually she's blessing the sun god, who is her first disciple, so that he'll have the strength and capacity and energy to serve. But the reason I'm bringing up this example, I was translating this yesterday, where our guru here had given a talk in 1998, and I was working on it for a book. And he gave this very sweet example. He said, Radha, she goes and does Surya Puja, which means sun worship, but it's an indirect way for her to worship Krishna. If she were to say, I'm directly worshipping Krishna, then society would not look upon it well. But that other reason she would go is because if the higher personality does not come to the lower personality cannot come to the higher personality. So Radha, she is the original internal potency of the Supreme. She is the personification of pure love. She is the highest grace. If she does not come down to our plane in some way, then how can we access her grace? Even the sun, as powerful as the sun is, he cannot do anything without her grace, without her shelter and power. So it's like the mother coming to the infant. Such a sweet example. Who thinks of the sun as a little baby? Radharani has to come to baby sun and give the sun her love and nurture the sun. This is why she's doing Surya Puja. Every day, dressing, decorating. But the sun he is serving by allowing there to be an indirect way for her to meet with Krishna. How is that? Oh, I'm doing Surya Puja, but I need someone's help. Who comes? A priest. Krishna comes in the form of a Brahmin priest with his friend, Madhumangal, and they do the ceremony, and Radharani's mother-in-law herself will engage Krishna and Madhumangal in the priestly duties. And afterwards, she'll be so happy, she'll say, oh, let my daughter-in-law give you some gift. What should she give? She'll give you a ring. And Krishna will say, no, I have not come here to do any worship for any material reward. This is my duty, I will not take anything. But Madhumangal says, I'll take it. So Radharani will give a ring, drop it in Madhumangal's hand, and then Madhumangal will put it on Krishna's finger. Who gave this ring? Jatila, Radharani's mother-in-law. And Radharani put it on Krishna's finger indirectly. So it's 3 tiers of parakya rasa. Parakya means this indirect love. Her mother-in-law, this is a whole controversy around this subject, but Radhe and Krishna are eternal beloveds, divine couple, but in this world and in certain realms of their spiritual dimension, they perform this, they enact this pastime of parakiya indirect love because it's so sweet. But here they're doing it in 3 tiers. First she's saying she's going to worship the sun, whereas in fact she's going to worship Krishna. And she calls the sun Mitra, which is the dear friend. And if you look at Mitras in human history, actually that was a name for the sun. Why? It's coming from the Vedic tradition. You've heard of Mitras. That literally means friend. The sun is the best friend of the earth because he's giving life and nourishment. So, firstly, she's going to worship the sun to give him her blessings. She is like Mother, the Supreme Goddess, and she is the source of all the power of God. In our Brahma Gayatri, we chant Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. I meditate upon the power of God. She is the power of God. And Savitur Varinyam, we worship or adore the sun. We venerate the sun. Why? Because he has received the power of the divine. So we meditate or we venerate, that means Varinyam. We venerate the sun because he has received the Bhargo Devasya, the energy of God. And who is the energy of God? Radha. So when you do your Brahma Gayatri, who are you meditating on? The sun or Radha? You're meditating on Radha. So Radharani will go and bless the sun, but then the sun is helping her meet with Krishna. How? This pastime is performed around this time, before lunch, in the mid-morning. It's a very sweet time to perform these pastimes. Krishna comes with his cowherd boys and the calves, and they come near Govardhan, and then they all rest. There's a very beautiful meadow near Govardhan, near Radha Kunj, and in that very sweet, beautiful meadow, the cows and the calves begin to chew grass, and the boys have their lunch, and they all just become very happy, and they relax and take a short nap, and Krishna will walk away. He'll say, I'll be back in a few minutes, I'm going on a walk in the forest, you rest. And Krishna will go with Subal or Madhumangal, and he will go to Suryakund. And there, Radharani will come with a few of her close friends and her mother-in-law. But her mother-in-law goes some days, and then she feels confident, so she says, okay, today I don't need to go. Radharani is going and doing her worship. This is bringing blessing to our family. So then, when they get there, in Vedic culture, you have to have a priest to do the ceremony. So Krishna becomes the priest with Madhumangal. And in this way, every article that Radharani is offering to the sun god, she's using the name Mitra, my dear most beloved, my dear most friend. So everything she's offering in front of her mother-in-law is being offered to Krishna. Imagine how much sweetness Krishna is feeling and Radharani is feeling. Must be very sweet. Radharani is, now we should think, Radharani's age is what? Kishori. Radharani is not a woman. Woman means adult female. Okay? This is the official US definition. Okay? Radharani is not a woman. She's Kishori, a young maiden. Gurudev would say, it is like she's preteen, but she appears like a fresh youth. But her mood is very young and innocent, 12, 13. But her age looks like 16, 17. And Krishna is also very young. The reason we're saying that is because their mood is very innocent, very simple. Love is very pure. Love has no contamination. Love is spotless. This is what our scripture says. Love is pure like the sun is effulgent. When you think of the sun, do you think of darkness? So the pure love in the spiritual world is pure, just like the sun is effulgent. And material lust is dark, just like the absence of light. You may think, oh, this is lust, but actually it is pure love. The essence of the mood is spotless love. There's not even the tinge of the slightest speck or semblance or scent or shadow of lust there. It's just pure love. So how are they feeling this sweet, romantic, indirect love when Radharani's mother-in-law is saying, now offer a ring to the priest as a gift? And Krishna says, no, I will not accept any gift from a lady. I'm a brahmachari. I have never looked at a woman in my life. I'm only looking down. I'm only thinking of God. You're thinking of God or you're thinking of goddess? He says, what is the difference? Krishna says, I'm only thinking of God. God, goddess, Shakti, Shakti, Matora, Beda, potato, potato. What's the difference? I'm only thinking of Radharani. What is that? We hear, what is all-pervasive? God is all-pervasive. That is one meaning of the word Vishnu. Vishnu means he who is all-pervading. Vyapnoti iti Vishnu. That which is all-pervading is Vishnu. All right? So God is all-pervading. But in his presence, that presence is all-pervading. But what is in his spirit? What is in his heart, in his consciousness? His beloved, Shakti. So she is more all-pervading. The whole world is attracted to Krishna and he is attracted to his beloved Sri Radha. The whole world is bewildered by the beauty of Krishna. He is bewildered by the beauty of Sri Radha. Gurudev gave my elder sister this name, Madan, Mohan, Mohini. He who charms, she who charms the heart of the supreme charmer. That's what it means, right? Mohini, the supreme charmer. She charms his heart, he who charms everyone. So when you're chanting Kam Gayatri, is this a meditation on Krishna or Radha? It's a meditation on Krishna, he's Kama Devaya. But it's a meditation on she who conquers his heart with her arrows of love, which is her sidelong glance. The arrow of Srimati Radhika's love, Kam Gayatri, there are 5 arrows. But the first is the sidelong glance. And then the fragrance, sweet words. So that is Srimati Radhika. So in this way they're performing Surya Puja. So the question is, how do we go from this sweet meditation of something very beautiful to something we can actually practice? So therefore we come into the process of archan. Archan means worship. Radharani is doing Surya Puja. She's teaching us every day you should do some worship. Lazy people. I am doing worship every day to my baby, the sun. I am bathing the sun. I am giving a garland to the sun. I'm giving flowers to the sun. I'm giving an arti lamp to the sun. Every day I'm bathing baby sun. Every day I'm serving baby sun so that the sun has strength to give energy and life to the world. The higher comes to the lower and serves to show the lower the importance of coming to the higher by service. The higher is coming to the lower and showing the importance of service so that the lower can come to the higher, understanding the importance of service. Archan. Every day we should do archan. Archan means performing worship with various articles to the object of one's devotion. Radharani is doing this for Krishna through Surya Puja and also in energizing the sun. So how do we do this? When anyone would join the temple in the time of Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada or Srila Gurudev, the first 2 services they would be trained in are cooking and archan. These are both very important forms of worship. And Srimati Radhika is daily doing this. Archan, which means the process of worship, and cooking. It's a very simple, very sweet way. I remember Srila Gurudev said once in his class in California, New Braj, where I grew up, he said, there's so much philosophy and you should learn this. And in the audience there was perhaps 700-800 people, and there was half men and half ladies. And Gurudev was in the middle. And he was talking to the men in a way, yes. And he was talking to everybody, But he had a smile on his face. He said, yes, all this philosophy, understand everything, learn everything. And he smiled and he said, but oh ladies, simply by cooking you can go to the spiritual world. What's the hardship? He said, already your heart is soft. Philosophy is there like a hammer to soften the heart, to break open the shell like a rock encasing it, to help us learn how to become gentle and soft so that we can actually experience the moods of pure love of God. Externally you can be a bodybuilder, no problem. But you need to develop the softness of your heart to realize pure love of God. Externally you have your work in the world, you can put on your suit of armor. But there has to be some place where you can not be afraid to love and be in a relationship of love. Love is natural. You're naturally going to love something. You're going to love your fancy bag. You're going to love your cat in your car. You're going to love something. So why should you be afraid to love God and Guru and his devotees? That love is pure. But there's a process to awaken it. That is the process of archan. When we are chanting our Gayatri, we should be performing archan. It's not only an external practice, but we also need to learn to do it externally so that you have some reference how to do it internally, and that you value the direct service as much as the internal service. Because otherwise, you'll think the external is mundane and the internal is genuine. But Krishna appears in this world in his deity form. He appears in this world as his name. You chant his name, that is his presence. Nam nami abhinna, nam nam akadi bahuda nija sarva shaktis. He is present in his name, but he is also present in his deity. If you have love and you pray for him to appear in his deity form, then he is there. If you don't have desire to serve the deity, how will you develop the desire of service to serve the form of the Absolute? It appears in this form to help us. Therefore, we do archan to the deity. And when you join the temple, you do archan. What is that? So those who learn to do this as a pujari, as the priest to the deity, they're taught to first do the internal meditation. And so then we understand the internal and the external are both important. Both important, but the internal is very important. And if you don't learn to do that, then you'll remain in the superficial realm. So both are important. So therefore, when you do your Gayatri, even if you aren't a pujari or priest who is daily worshipping the deity, you still learn to do that archan. And it helps to offer it to the deity because it's something very tangible that protects you from speculation and imitation. Otherwise, you, in the beginning stages, maybe after a long time of practice, could be years and years, naturally it will evolve. Transformation isn't like an on-off button. It's a gradual incline until one day you just awaken into a different state. Sometimes there'll be checkpoints, or you could think of it as a stairway. But the point is, you don't get to the top of a long stairway in one leap. You need to learn to take gradual steps. So worship of the deity is a very important step. And gradually that will lead you into higher and higher levels of absorption and meditation. But learn to love in that form. Like we have our Guru's Murti, the deity of our predecessor Gurus. In the mantra and Guru mantra, you offer them flower. What's the harm? Oh, I'm not qualified, I'm afraid. Don't be afraid to love. If you do it out of love, that love will naturally train you and bring you higher. Love will be your teacher. Love will appear in the form of that Guru. And so how can you not offer love back? You imagine Radharani is worshipping the sun. What does the sun feel like? I have to worship Radharani? I have to make temples for Radharani? I have to glorify Radharani? So in the same way, Guru is helping us in so many ways. Can we not offer something simple in return? Offer a flower at his feet? Gradually, this will lead to higher levels of understanding. Many of our gurus, they are present in their internal spiritual form as Srimati Radhika's maidservants. But are you eligible to enter into that understanding yet? Therefore, worship the form of Guru that appears to us. Learn to love the form of Guru that appears to us. Because that is tangible, it is real. Therefore, it's said in our scripture, Guru sa naramatir, do not see Guru as an ordinary material person. Do not see devotees as bound by material caste. And do not see the deity as material stone. If you do so, you will remain yourself as a material person, as a member of this material world, like a stone. If you see the deity as stone, and Guru as a material person, and devotees as a member of a material caste, what we call identity politics, that's basically caste designation. You are black, you are white. You are beautiful, you are beautiful. You are soul. Soul is beautiful, soul is divine. For people who are not Vaishnav, so many categorizations are given. For people who are Vaishnavs, now we are awakening into real consciousness. Therefore you categorize them as a saintly person. In Jaiva Dharma, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, anyone who is becoming a Vaishnav, a real devotee of God, they are a spiritual being. They are now an evolved being. Therefore, do not think of them as a member of a material identification caste. And do not think of Guru as a material person, and do not think of the deity as stone. If you do that, what? You will remain stone. Your heart will remain a stone. You will not advance. Learn to see the Gurus as the embodiment of the mercy and the love of Radha Krishna. Then you can advance. So we offer this to our Gurus, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, the Vaishnavas, all their associates. One thing I was hearing this morning is, God is so merciful, He sends Guru to us. But if we take Guru's help to go to God and forget Guru, then what happens? We get lost in the way to Godhead and try to become the Godhead. God sends Guru and then Guru brings us to God, but does that mean we leave Guru, we leave the devotees? Oh, now I am becoming Guru and now I am God. This mentality is often seen. Why? Because people do not learn to love. If you love someone, you don't want to leave them. If you think of Guru as someone who will teach you some knowledge and give you some power, then I'll get that and I will jump over them. But if you think of them as your friend, as the friend of your soul, as the friend of your heart, that's why Bhakta Bandhav means the friend of the devotees. If you think of them as your best friend, who wants to leave their best friend? Sometimes the kids, they have to move with their parents and they cry and cry and cry. Why? Mom, Dad, I'm going to lose all my friends. Right? You have to move here, then move there. Oh, I'm going to lose all my friends. I don't want to lose my friends. So Guru isn't your friend? Would you want to leave Guru? I want to leave Guru so I can be Guru. Guru is bringing me to God. I want to be God. There's many paths which focus on becoming God. You are God. Where's the sweetness in that? Stone cannot worship stone. Sugar cannot taste sugar. Our Gurus would say like that. To experience the sweetness of God, there has to be distinction. Then sugar can taste its sweetness. So, Shakti Matora Veda. You want to look at it as one, we will look at it as different. The devotees look at it as different. I am small, God is great. But then through bhakti, God is love and I love God. Gurudev would say God is love and love is God. Don't be afraid to love. But that is a process. It can't be artificially given, can't be artificially awakened. So we say like that therapeutic tincture. Learn to value it. Learn to focus on it. Whatever you focus on will grow. Whatever you give energy will become more strong. Right? Choose what you want to focus on in life. So we do archan. That means there's 16 items of archan in the general worship practice. But also, if you're just doing it like a A student, it's good, but naturally it should come from the heart. Like when you meditate on the deity, you invite the deity on, we have the deity form, but then when we do their archan, we invite them onto a seat. We give them a very soft seat. We say, no, that's not the first step. The first step is inviting them. Okay, we're inviting and we're giving a seat. Then they've come from a long distance from the spiritual world here to this dirty material world. I'll wash their feet. So if you're doing it with your material body, your material senses, but without your mind and your heart, then it remains external. So when you do it by the mind, it's closer to the heart. And if you do it with a sentiment of devotion and love, then the mind and the heart, it said they kind of mix. And the mind becomes the medium to your heart. And so then with your mind, with your heart of love, you're massaging the feet of your beloved. Okay, I'm doing the deity's feet. So, you do your deity's feet. Gradually they'll become softer and softer and softer. One day you'll just be directly massaging the feet of Radharani and Krishna. Simple. Is it real or not? There's stories in our scripture of a Brahmin who daily in his mind would offer sweet rice to his deity of Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi Devi, and Lord Vishnu would daily take it. God is in your heart. He cannot accept your mood. What he eats is your mood. When you offer the plate of food, you say, the food's still there on the plate. That wasn't what he was eating. He was eating your mood of love. So if you forget to add that secret ingredient, what's the use of the prep? I made it very nice, but no love. Duryodhana tried to feed the Lord in that way, and Krishna didn't accept his offering. Duryodhana made 56 items, and the Lord didn't take even one morsel. And then he went to the house of Vidura and his wife, and she gave him banana peels. She had so much love for him. She was looking at him. He has come to my home. They lived in a little broken thatched hut where water would drip through the roof. And this very humble, simple older lady saw the Lord appear. He was so beautiful. She had so much love for him. She grabbed a bunch of bananas that was next to her and started peeling them and offering him the peels and throwing the banana on the ground. And Krishna was eating the peels. And Vidura came home and saw, my wife is feeding the Lord peels. What is she doing? And Krishna smiled at him and said, don't interrupt her. I want to eat the whole bunch. One by one. That's why Krishna sometimes eats dirt. He says, I just want to experience your love. I don't care if it's dirt or banana peels. But that doesn't mean we do that. But following this line, we'll make banana peel pakoras. They're very tasty. You chop up the banana peel, you offer the banana like fruit salad, or so many preps you can make with banana, but then you'll take the peel and dice it up very nicely, use some chickpea flour, some different spices, and fry it in pure ghee, and give Krishna the pakoras. He likes it. So in our process to awaken love, best process is archan and cooking. And harinam, Guru Mantra. Simple. We can do extended archan while doing japa. Gayatri time, it's recommended you perform basic archan. Guru Mantra, then Gaur Mantra to Mahaprabhu, Radha Krishna. And this way, we advance. But why I recommend for the deity is because then you can still do in the subtle body is kind of like the projection or the negative of your material body. So if you do it in that body, you can serve Radha Krishna in the deity form. But in their spiritual form, you cannot serve Radharani in a male form. That's why those who aspire for serving Srimati Radhika must become her manjaris. Those who want to serve Krishna, they can be sakas or gopis. But if you want to serve Srimati Radhika, you must become manjari. Or if you have a deep desire to do that, you must be a manjari. Saki also will not directly, sometimes they will serve Srimati Radhika, but mostly the manjaris will comb her hair, decorate her with flowers. There's so many more things to think about, to talk about. I don't want to get too in trouble, but there's so many levels to this practice. Said Srimati Radhika takes 3 kinds of bath: Tarunyamrita, Karunyamrita, Lavanyamrita. It's a very beautiful topic, but gradually, by performing archan, you can enter into proper service. And this is how we do it, by developing love. We think, oh, but I'm not qualified. How can I bathe and dress Radha Krishna? But our gurus don't give us deities. You can't bathe and dress the deities. There's something wrong with that. We think, oh, I'm not pure. That's why deity worship is so great, because you learn to take a shower, put on deodorant or perfume, dress with nice clean clothes. Krishna wants you to be well dressed and clean. Archan is very powerful. If you perfect yourself in this path, then, like some Goswamis, even though the deities all came to them, they had arranged priests for the deities, and they were wandering from place to place in Vrindavan, sleeping under a different tree every night, chanting Ha Radhe, Ha Brajadevi Ke Chalite, Ha Nanda Sunuguta. They were completely absorbed in that. Then for them, cloth is clean, not clean, they're part of Mahangsa. But we cannot imitate that. We serve in our body, we learn to practice cleanliness. If your body is clean, gradually you can train your mind to be clean. But even if your mind isn't completely clean, you have to start. Don't be afraid to love. Why? Like a baby, oh, but I'm not clean, I'm still making my diapers dirty. No problem. If your diapers are dirty, no problem. You have to start to progress. Okay? No problem. Krishna is very merciful, Gurudev is very merciful, Mahaprabhu is very merciful. Then, archan means not just offering a seed and flowers. Archan means nice scented oil, giving massage. Very nice. You can massage Radha and Krishna's deity form. You can massage Mahaprabhu's deity form. Very nice. Very gentle. Vaishnavas would say, oh, in their Guru Mantra, Gurudev at that time was very aged, 85, and they would say, oh, we would meditate on serving them in this form, but their hands are very gentle, very soft. Develop love. In that way, naturally this will evolve and transform. But you have to start the process to awaken this love, and the ingredient principles must be loving. You build upon the foundation. The foundation has to be some amount of priti, love. And the seed of that priti love is faith with devotion. And you build upon that. So then you'll offer massage. After that, we do abhishek. You can offer warm, scented water. You can offer honey. Bathe the Lord in honey. How sweet. The definition of sweet. Madhur. Madhur is honey. And madhur is sweet. Madhurya ras is the most sweet. So you can bathe the deity with honey. How sweet, how romantic. And yet we do it like a ritual. Give me some more honey. Throw some ghee on the deity. Wipe them down. Put a dress on them. Right? It's like, no, we want another conch shell of honey. And then ghee. And then sandal pulp. Sometimes we use sandal paste. When we do the deity installation, we do 108 tulsi leaves on their hand, on their heart, on their head, each with their mantras, mula mantras. Then, after bathing, we'll dry their form and give their dress, give them a seat again, offer them some foodstuffs. So even in archan, you have to cook. Or you have to have somebody else to cook. If you're very busy in your mind, you can tell your assistant to cook for you. Go and cook something and bring it to me to offer. And you can have all your different assistants do it. But anyhow, you have to offer something. So in your heart, in your mind, you offer this dish, this dish, they take it, then you offer arti lamp. What does the arti lamp represent? Represents all the different feelings of your love and all the different elements. The incense is the sense of smell, fragrance. The lamp is the sense of sight. The flower is the sense of touch, very gentle. The fan, the sense of the air, the breathe, the feeling. So in this way we offer very sweet, simple worship. It's very sweet and simple. Don't think of it as a ritual. Think it as a way to offer your love in a very practical manner. It's very practical. So in this way we can develop. Then also remember, they're very busy. So you don't take too long. Radharani is very busy. Krishna is very busy. Say, hurry up, finish the archan. Chalo, chalo, chalo. Gurudev would say, when he came to the West, he would see people doing arti for like half an hour. It's like Krishna has somewhere to go. You're waving the ghee lamp 50 times. No, he said, do it to his feet, do it to his waist, do it to his head, do it to his whole body, and then let him go. Right? Arti has its time. Some people, they're doing arti to Krishna, but they want everyone to do arti of them. Look at me, and how nicely I wave the chamara. You should do my arti. So it should be done nicely, but you should do it with attentiveness to them. And they have things to do. They're busy. So then you can understand that the pastimes of the Lord are like a stream of nectar. And archan is your process to enter into that stream of nectar. So you're doing your manasi seva, and that is like bathing in the river. And by bathing that river every day, hopefully one day the river will just sweep you away. Every day I'm bathing Radharani and Krishna, bathing Mahaprabhu, bathing our Guru Varga. But really, what are we trying to do? Take bath in that river of their divine being, their divine state. And we hope one day we will get swept up in that current. But to do that, we have to give up all our attachments. There's a story of Gurudev when he was a young man joining the temple. He wasn't yet renounced, but he would serve one sadhu, Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. He was very elderly, 30 or so years older than Gurudev, I think. And so he would go to the river Ganga and bathe with him and help serve. And he had this one water pot from his home that he had brought. And every day he would go and they would put their cloth next to the Ganga, put their water pot, and they would bathe and offer prayers to the Ganga. One day as they were bathing, the current of the Ganga was a little bit strong that day, and she came up on the shore and took his water pot and swept it away. And Gurudev said, there goes my water pot. And Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj said, very good. Your final attachment has been taken away. So if you want to enter the current of that stream of nectar, gradually we have to leave behind all material attachments, all material ideas, all material desires, and our only desire becomes Koro More Atmasat, bring me near you, keep me near you, let us be with you. So that is our prayer today. Jai Jai Shri Radhe Vanchakalpatarubhya